There was a viral video going around for a while showing a young boy being beaten by a group of other teenagers on a bus. Turns out 5 students are being charged with battery after beating a boy 14 on school bus, quote, because he wore a Trump 2020 hat. Now, at the time of the incident, he wasn't wearing the hat. Question it, whatever. The argument is that he had worn it in the past, was bullied for it, so stopped, and then got bullied again. I'm going to reserve judgment. All we have is the video. And you know what, man? Let me say something. There's a video going viral on Reddit right now. Shows cops on bikes in Seattle. And the title is something like, police crash into pedestrians and then arrest them for assault, which is just fake news. So in the video, you see a cop on a bike. He bumps into somebody. A woman gets pressed against the wall. She falls back. The guy keeps walking. Other cops come up and grab him. And then all of a sudden, there's a squad car with the lights on. They arrest the guy. I don't know what happened. But see, they take these videos and they claim something is happening to use it as propaganda. So you got to be careful about this stuff. We don't know what happened with this kid. Now, I'm willing to believe both stories. I got to be honest. Cops bumping into somebody and then arresting them. I've seen worse. But in this video, it seems likely that the cops bump into the guy because they're targeting him specifically because he had just left a protest and they were looking for him. They found him and they arrested him. That's it. Not that I'm a fan of the police, like as an institution. I got no problem with the individual officers, but I do think there's, I guess the problem is you have a culture, in certain communities that needs to be kind of weeded out in terms of corruption. I'm not saying that literally every cop, I'm saying like, I don't know, a small percentage will get away with something or do something bad, and that needs to be targeted. But I don't want to go into a tirade about the police. Suffice it to say, I think that video is absurd. But in this video, you see a kid being beaten. We don't know why. And that's a challenge. Just what they say would happen, right? However, because this is so, it's common enough, I kind of believe it. So let's read. They say, 5 students have been charged Friday after a shocking video emerged of a Florida boy being attacked on a school bus, allegedly because he'd previously worn a Donald Trump MAGA hat. The news comes 3 weeks after the initial attack on November 21st that sent the 14-year-old boy, identified as Tyler, to the hospital with head contusions. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office said the students involved had been charged with first-degree misdemeanor battery after discussing the charges with the state attorney's office. The Florida State Attorney's Office recommended that the incident does not meet the criteria for a hate crime. You see, how are we supposed to take hate crime laws seriously if it tends to flow in only one direction, right? If it's a minority being attacked by a white person, but the law is colorblind. It says based on race. So I guess you could argue it's not. It was political. Fine. In D.C., I think it would have been. They say, Superintendent Rex L. Mitchell shared a press release on Friday addressing the incident. Mitchell said the school district has investigated the incident, disciplined the students involved in the altercation, and turned information over to the sheriff's office for criminal action. Although social media was set ablaze at the implication that the beating happened because Tyler wore a MAGA hat, Mitchell contends that is not the case. You see, this is what I was talking about. It is implied in the post that the altercation occurred because one of the students involved was wearing a political hat, showing support for President Trump. There was no evidence found during the investigation that indicated the student was wearing of such apparel on a prior occasion. Wait, hold on. There was no evidence found during the investigation that indicated the student was wearing of such apparel on a prior occasion. What is this? I don't know what they're trying to say because the Daily Mail, you got to get a copy editor. They say, there was no evidence found during the investigation that indicated the student was wearing any of this apparel at the time of the altercation, or that his wearing of such apparel on a prior occasion motivated the incident. Boom. There it is. That's the important point. You got to be careful, man, because there are people who take advantage of your goodwill on the left and the right. Now, that's what their investigation found. It's also fair to point out they're going to want to downplay the politics of this. So what do you want to do, right? This happens. We see all these videos all the time of people in MAGA hats getting their hat flicked, getting pushed around. It makes sense. However, in the video, he's not wearing a hat. And so I guess the argument then later, let me see if they have the tweets pulled up. Look at this is what the original tweet said. I am sitting in the hospital with my 14-year-old kid because he was jumped by 8 black kids on the school bus. I guess that's what happens when a kid wears a Trump hat to school. And who's the violent ones again? Earlier today, they poured milk all over his head. Apparently, they said later I see they have the tweet. They don't have it up. That it was because he was wearing the hat earlier than this. Well, the school is claiming that's not true. You know what, man? I understand the school has reason to try and deflect and be like, no. Doesn't happen at our school. But I also want to make sure you're all aware. Tons of people lie. They're grifters and they will come for you. I'm not accusing them of anything because I'm inclined to believe it may have something to do with Trump. He's not wearing a hat in the video. They say the incident began with a verbal altercation between two students that escalated when additional students became involved. The school district reviewed the bus video to not only view the altercation, but the event leading up to the event and the subsequent conclusion. Mitchell said, "We absolutely do not condone the use of physical force between students. This was a very unfortunate incident, completely unrelated to any political statements or agendas." A woman by the name of Melissa Griffin organized a GoFundMe on Friday for her son, Tyler. She says Tyler is emotionally distraught and as he reels from the incident and he is crying most days. Following the November incident, Griffin says they no longer feel safe sending Tyler back to the school and are considering other options, including homeschooling or moving to a different county. I mean, that I believe. Regardless of why he got beat up, he got beat up. And these kids are going to jail for it, or they've been arrested for it. The money donated to the GoFundMe will go towards purchasing a good laptop computer and other supplies needed to be successful in a homeschool environment for Griffin's two sons. So far, the GoFundMe has raised around $2,600 of the $4,000 goal. The first video emerged on Thursday after the boy's family retained attorney Foy B. Walker for possible legal action. The attorney, Walker, verified in a tweet that the incident occurred on a school bus in Hamilton County and that he was representing the family. He did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Daily Mail. The boy's mother explained on Twitter that she believed the attackers were motivated by a Trump 2020 campaign hat that her son had previously worn to school. She said that the boy stopped wearing the hat due to harassment, but that the bullying continued. To be clear, my son bought his Trump hat with his own money at the flea market a few weeks ago. His mother, a Trump supporter who tweets under the handle American Diaries, wrote, "He was proud to wear it. He wore it to school, but due to immediate bullying, he put it away and didn't wear it to school again. Sadly, the damage was already done and he was now a target. From that point on, he was steadily getting messed with. He was getting hit, tripped, and verbally abused on the bus. But it all came to a head yesterday on his bus ride home," she continued. So I will ask this question. How do you prove a negative? You know what I mean? Like, if the school is saying it was not motivated by a previous political hat, how do you know that? Did you go to the students who beat him up and ask them, "Hey, are you mad that he wore a Trump hat?" No. Okay, case dismissed, right? Is there evidence he never wore a Trump hat at the school? Also a very hard thing to prove. So I got to say, I challenge this first and foremost, because don't be surprised if it comes out to be a hoax. However, I lean more towards the likelihood of this being true, regardless of what the school said, simply because it fits with what we've seen in the past. And you know, I got to admit, it's a confirmation bias. But we have seen so much of this that if you tell me that's what happened, I'm going to lean towards, seems like it's the case. And we know that there's, political issues at the school coming out. And more importantly, look, I don't care about the political issues at the school. The school, how do you prove he never wore the hat? How do you prove that he wasn't wearing a hat at the park? He was hanging out at the school after hours, had the hat on, they made fun of him, he took it off, now they're bullying him. He got bullied, okay? They say it was for a Trump hat. Here's the problem. First, because of the school, the left will deny it. They'll say they're lying. See, this proves it. The school said it. This proves it. The people on the right are going to say the school is lying to save face. The family said it. We know it happens. These stories like these are impossible to solve. All I can really tell you is here's the important takeaway as to why I will lean towards I think it likely was about the MAGA hat. These kids got arrested and charged. It's not fake. He got beat up. They filmed it. They arrested the kids. I mean, sure, there's a reason for the family to be like, oh, it's because he was wearing a MAGA hat, I guess. But, simple solution, man. The kid was being bullied. That's a fact. People get bullied for wearing MAGA hats. That's a fact. The likelihood that it occurred if his mom's a Trump supporter, it kind of makes sense. She says he bought it with his own money. Well, if his mom's a famous Trump supporter, stands to reason her kid will be too. And it stands to reason, because people have been attacked, that's likely to be the case. But I will leave you with this. There's a little bit more here. They have a photo of the head injury and stuff, proving that he went to the hospital and all that. Tyler's mother says she believes the assault was racially motivated. Tyler is white and the assailants appear to be black. Plain and simple, this was a hate crime, an attempted murder, according to the state of Florida, since it was over 3 kids that jumped him and these kids are older and larger. She said that she has contacted the police and the school district and that the children involved had been suspended from the school. Well, apparently now they are being arrested. But you know what, man? You guys know I'm the milquetoast fence sitter, but I will warn you. I only make definitive statements if I can prove it definitively. Be careful. People will hoax you. And that's what they want to happen. They want this story to go viral. Not this one in particular, but like you will find that someone will make this viral story. And then once everyone on the right props it up, they'll pull out the curtain and be like, aha, it was fake. And then everyone will look really dumb. So you got to watch out for propaganda, be it the police thing with like bumping into the guy in the back or a Trump hat attack. But you know what? Color me biased. I've seen so much of this. I lean towards it being more likely that it was politically motivated. I'll leave it there. Stick around. A couple more videos coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.